podcast, locally and abroad.
We bring you weekly guests that connect, inform, and inspire our listeners on all things service.
We highlight diverse service opportunities that appeal to both Rotarians and people driven to serve in their communities.
Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. or anytime via podcast. It's time
to stop searching
and start serving.
Thanks to everyone who's continued to support AM 950. Good news, the AM 950 2024 calendar is ready to go, featuring photos I took around Minnesota and important progressive dates. Members that sign up with a one-time $25 membership will receive a 2024 AM 950 calendar as a thank you. Make a one-time $50 or $100 donation. You'll get the AM 950 calendar and the brand new AM 950 tote bag as a thank you. Go to am950radio.com for all the details on the membership. That's am950radio.com. Thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Temperatures are cooling off and fall migration is underway. Do you know what that means? Eagle viewing season is almost here, and the National Eagle Center is your headquarters for information and experiences. This winter, experience bald and golden eagles in the wild with an unforgettable expert-led field trip. Plan your private eagle habitat tour and learn where the best eagle viewing is with weekly eagle counts. Plus, you can visit the eagles at the center all season long. Plan your visit or experience today online at nationaleaglecenter.org.
I'm Angela Warner with Warner Stellian, and if you know me, you know I love a good bargain, which is why I'm telling you about our year-end appliance clearance. Our stores are packed with red-tagged closeouts, scratch and dents, and floor model appliances priced to sell so we can make room for next year's models. And if you buy more now, you save more. Get an additional 10% off 2 red tags and 15% off 3. You'll still enjoy our famous free delivery by our trusted specialists. So hurry into your local Warner Stellian to score a deal before they're gone.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of flurries late tonight with a low of 26, then clearing skies Wednesday with a high of 29.
Get the appliances you've been dreaming of for less at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance. Shop closeouts, scratch and dent, and floor models. Plus, buy more to save more. Take 10% off 2 red tags and 15% off 3 at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. Hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events, and Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon, supporting honest Native news, stories, and events from Natives themselves. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Hey, you know what time of year it is again? I always want to quiz you, and I know we have women's hockey coming up. We have all these things, but what is your guess on what's well, I guess it's the final countdown, Haley, of what that time of year it is.
It is the final countdown here on Native Roots Radio for that time of year. But first, I want to say Happy New Year's. We are now in 2024. We made it, which is huge. But anyways, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at MNsure. MNsure.org is the one-stop destination for health insurance and tax savings in the state. They provide friendly assistance to everyone, no matter your income. So if you need that resource, head over to MNsure.org.
You know, in the first Saturday of 2017 is when we started the show in January. So this is 7 years now, our anniversary of Native Roots Radio, and Wendy and I and Haley want to just thank everybody out there that's been listening and's been a fan. And there's some people that you know who you are. You were our first fans out there and kept us going. I remember going to what was it? It was like some solar thing at downtown St. Paul, or some renewable energy fair down there, and people came up to us and knew who we were, and it was like, wow, people listen to this show. It's like, what? Wow, we just thought we were talking into a microphone in a studio in Eden Prairie. But as we go places, Haley, we run into people that listen to our show, support our show, and it's been a really fun adventure for me to be doing this show. And as we say in the beginning of the show, trying to amplify voices and native things, and we're all connected, and we have the medicine wheel with the 4 colors, one representing white, one African American, and one Asian, and we're all related. So I just want to give all our allies and our friends and our native friends out there a big shout out, and thank you so much for supporting, because if you weren't listening, we wouldn't be on the air. And we've been doing this Monday through Friday gig for 3 years now, and really excited with the support we have with our local AM 950 here. And of course, we're on civic media all across Wisconsin, and we're in WOJB and in northern Wisconsin, and we're on a couple local stations, and give a big shout out to KFAI that we're on here in the Twin Cities too, plays the best of and supports our native news, and how unique of a niche this has been that we've been able to fill in our community. And I just want to say a big peeny for everybody that's listened, that's been on the show, that's supported the show. Just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And 2024 is going to be a great year, Haley.
Yeah, I think so too. And 7 too. That's our lucky number 7. I know 7 holds a lot of meaning in our native communities, and we talk about we are the 7th generation. And so here we are, full circle, and I'm proud to be working here on the show. I learned so much, not only just about our Ho-Chunk Nation, but all of our nations. And I want to give a shout out to those that came before me, Ogama and Zoe, for paving the way, and shout out to AM 950 and Chad and Brett.
Yeah, and Uncle Curtis, who was on for many years. We got to give him a big shout out. He was on our show when we were on once a week, and he used to, when we went into Eden Prairie and when we were on once a week, Haley, he would do the prayer before the show with the guests, and it was really special and really smudged us all off. And I miss that in a lot of ways, and it's a great memory of him, and also the beginning of the show. There's just been so many, like you said, so many people like Ogama, Zoe Allen that's helped us out along the way. It's kind of really exciting. And then of course Wendy's been on, and Wendy and I did a show too once a week on AM 950. It was called Pilot's Progressive Party, and we did that for a good year, and that was fun. It was the potpourri of everything, and we were on an hour, and it was a lot of fun. And Wendy's retired right now, so she comes on once a week and does her painting and her animal stuff, and she's living a happy life here, and as a retired person.
I love that for her, living her best life. Well, what did you guys do over New Year's? We know there was the couple powwows going on.
Yeah.
What did you guys end up doing?
Nothing. I'm trying to think. Well, the next day, which was it New Year's Day? Our daughter came over and her husband, and we had dinner with them. But basically, natives really think of the New Year as spring.
Yeah.
And not January. So,
or the solstice, winter solstice.
Yeah, well, that's something totally. That's a renewal of time too, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, we don't think of it the same way. So it's not as big a deal to me as it was when I was in high school and sneaking around and stealing my parents' booze.
Exactly. I know. Why were things so much more fun when we were kids and things were illegal?
I had no idea. I was just like running on adrenaline there, I think.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it out and I'm gonna go hang with my friends. And I'm feeling just like an elder or something because I had to take a nap. Okay. So it was a few hours before the ball dropped. Set my alarm. So I thought I actually I set my calculator for 1000 and I was gonna wake up at 1000.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't wake up, so I missed the ball drop, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, we saw that we watch TV and watch CNN. We usually watch Anderson Cooper and I can't remember the other cat's name, but we do that a lot.
The funny ones.
Yeah, and they had it all over the country too. It's a renewal, but I've never had any. My resolution's always not to have a resolution.
I agree with that. Well, you guys have your condo out in New York. Have you ever spent New Year's Eve at Times Square?
No, and I would like to, but it's really volatile right now. And I was listening to people that were there, Zoe, and they got there at 9:30 during the day or morning to be there. I'm not even awake that long to be there. Wendy would have to prop me up against a lamppost or something so I could take a nap before midnight because Bobby goes to bed early and he needs naps during the day. So
I understand that because I also am the same way. Obviously, just talked about it, but yeah, I think New Year's. I would love to do the whole Times Square and like have the euphoric feeling and the whole like conscious collective moment. But it's just like so many people.
Well, Wendy likes to call it's too people-y.
Right. Overcrowded.
Too people-y. Too many people. You don't want to see any people. So that's that. But yeah, I mean, power to people that are out there and enjoying themselves. And it's a new year, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and we're going to try and do things better and try and be here for the people and do our thing. But happy anniversary, Native Roots Radio. Hey, up next, Dr. Stately. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
As we pack away the ornaments and bid farewell to the holiday season, it's time to unwrap the gift that keeps on giving, getting protected by a COVID-19 vaccination. This is your chance to make a difference, especially as our Native communities face higher COVID numbers. Those higher numbers underscore the need for collective action. So answer the call and get vaccinated. The latest vaccines are not just authorized, but they're proven effective against the current variants. This is extra protection, even if you've already had previous vaccines, since previous vaccines will eventually. The new shots are FDA approved for ages 6 months and up. A COVID vaccine is not just a shot. It's a pledge to safeguard the wisdom and stories handed down by our elders. So join the movement, get vaccinated, and make 2024 the healthiest year ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community. For more information, including details about clinics offering free vaccines, visit vaccines.gov.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
I love that tagline, as I always say. Hey, we have Dr. Stately, the CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and he's kind enough to come in on Tuesday. And Dr. Stately, I just want to wish you a happy New Year right now.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too, as well.
Thanks a lot. What did you do? Haley and I talked about. Haley set her calculator so she could get up in time for midnight, and I guess calculator doesn't work as well as an alarm.
Oh yeah, did you do that on your phone?
Yeah, yeah, all the time.
It's easy.
It happens
It's
more than
easy.
you think.
Yeah, it's easy to do. Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, you can just like say Siri, set a timer for this, and she'll do it for you if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's a good.
I have that exact same coffee cup.
You do? Oh yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
coffee cup.
I know. It was a gift.
Yeah.
I can't give
Was
it
it?
away, but it was a gift. Yeah.
I don't know where I got this from? Somebody, probably somebody gave it to me. I imagine, but.
Right on. Well,
So
you should have let me know.
really sorry if you're somewhere out there, you're out there and you gave that coffee cup to me that I forgot. So just know that I do enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you end up doing?
Mm.
Wendy and I just stayed and watched TV, and I wanted to get out to the sober powwow, but I didn't make it.
Yeah, I wanted to get out there too. I wanted to go to a lodge, a sweat lodge. My nephew Ruben and some of his pals had a sweat lodge. God, that would have been a great way to start the new year, right? So, but no, we had a succession of stomach flu going through the house. So it started with me on Christmas Day, and the last kid had it on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And well, I think he had it the night before New Year's Eve. But so finished up. Yeah, we're all done with it though.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. I'm feeling.
I guess it could have been worse.
Yeah, it definitely could. With everything going around, and it's amazing what is happening here around the country and Turtle Island, and Minnesota doesn't seem to be getting hit as hard as some parts of the country, but we're still getting hit with everything from flu to COVID.
Yeah, RSV is also a big issue right now. I know a couple of friends of mine have gone into the hospital over the last couple of weeks, with lung stuff. So,
Wow.
hopefully, it's an opportunity to remind people to get vaccinated for COVID and your flu also, if you haven't done that. It's not too late to get your flu shot. Some people I think, oh, you gotta get it early in the year, otherwise it's not all that helpful. Flu season actually goes all the way through like April, I think, March or April. So it's still opportunity to take advantage of that. And then of course RSV for people who are very young or very old or very much older, like yourself and me.
I noticed that nationally, some hospitals are now recommending wearing a mask into the hospital, and we're kind of reliving that. And I can see it. I mean, there was a event we went to quite a few weeks ago before you got COVID, and then I got COVID, but we didn't get COVID at this event, but a lot of people did. And again, out of sight, out of mind. So I don't mind talking about this because it's still out there and still prevalent in our communities, and Native communities being hit really hard again with these sicknesses.
Yeah, I would say also like some people. So this new variant, I think it's Jan 1, is fairly robust, easy to get, easy to transmit. It also mimics a lot of the same sort of things that people think are common cold symptoms, or like a mild flu. There is some gastrointestinal stuff with it. So like I myself personally tested myself when I got sick to make sure like it wasn't COVID. I tested a couple of times, and that was important because I didn't, like you can't just walk around and think like, oh well, it's just a common cold, or oh I just have a little bit of a sniffle, or I mean you can, but it's not the best thing to do to people who you love and care about, especially during the holiday seasons. So I think part of that was, it's an important thing to just encourage people to be. The mask is as much to protect you as it is to protect the people around you that love you and you love. So, and vaccines are a great way to sort of like stay out of the hospital, those beds are filling up. We've had some full beds for a while.
Wow. Yeah. And it's, again, I needed a reminder, and I don't want to get back into the story of how you diagnosed me, but again, total denial. It's like I haven't had a cold in 20 years, and I felt like, well, I'm having a cold here, and it's just like, well, those sound like my symptoms.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, the important thing is to just try to be, and like there is no reason not to have COVID tests in your house. They're free in the state of
Yeah.
Minnesota. At least I'm not sure about Wisconsin and other places. There's a lot of other jurisdictions that do that. So like, Google free COVID tests. I mean, and if you don't know how to Google on your phone, you can ask Siri to Google it for you.
Yeah, Haley.
Exactly. Well, you can still go into any local clinic, I think, and get tested for free, right?
For Google?
For COVID.
Oh. 100% of the population would be positive for Googling, I think, probably. We should stop saying their name because is it possible that they get like a little bit of like revenue somehow from like saying their name every time we mention
No, but
them?
they'll be following us when we say their name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We shouldn't say
My
that.
ads will be popping up on my everywhere.
The G word.
Yeah, the G word. Yeah, we have to say the G word to know. But I forget where I was going with that anyway. The point is in Minnesota, you can get free tests from the state. There's, I think it's Say Yes. Anyway, I'll Google. Sorry, I'll G word it over the break and come back with the.
Or that one, or you listen to that one radio station we're not supposed to talk about too. So now there's a couple things on your list that you can't mention.
Yeah. Wow. I'm elderly and I just really can't remember all those things. I just am not able.
So I had a question about your kids. Have they mentioned when they went back to school that there was a lot of kids sick, or are there kids sick on the hockey team?
I think that's kind of like, yeah. So they had a number of kids that were sick right before the holiday break. That on their team, like they had a succession of kids, and if I had been more, of a, in their words, if I had been more of a caring parent, not a caring parent, but a caring parent is what they think of me.
See those
I
videos.
I would have kept them home, but it's like it's one of those things where I just was like, well, you've already been in that locker room with them, and they all have it. It's like it's kind of like alphabet soup. Everyone's going to get a letter at some point. I was actually, there was a part of me that was like really salty that it happened during Christmas vacation because I was like over the holiday break. And I was like, well, it could have been worse. There's a couple ways it could have been worse. One is it could have been something other than stomach flu, and we all got it like the last time. Like we all had COVID at the same time. That was miserable. It could have been like we all could have had stomach flu at the same time, and there's only 2 bathrooms and 4 people. That would have been really terrible. And this way it was spread out, and my energy and my cooking capacity was kind of like spread out over 7 days. I didn't have to I didn't have to play Nurse Nora every single hour, every single second, or every single day for several days in a row. So.
Yeah. Well, I felt sorry for Wendy because even today, just a little bit, you can hear I'm still congested, and that's been over a month. I had COVID, and then 10 days later, and then I just haven't been able to throw this cold. And now I feel really good, but it's weird because in the morning I feel perfect. I'm going, oh, I'm cured. And then as the day goes on and I get tired is when, my immune system goes down a little bit, and all of a sudden I'm blowing my nose and sneezing.
Yeah. It's probably, that has a lot to do with it. So maybe, Are you getting on and walking a little bit too? Maybe out in the
I
cold,
just
in the
started
fresh air.
again. I just started again, and I
Okay.
just said,
Yeah.
screw it. I'm not waiting in the house anymore. I'm gonna try and push through this. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't like, go on a power walk or go on
Oh,
a 5 mile walk, or like walk around the block, get some fresh air, and also start to exercise your lungs a little bit and get a little bit more. That's one of the things you need to do too, is just kind of stretch yourself a little bit. And then I think also, you know, brew some cedar tea. Also, while you're brewing it, or like kind of breathe some of the scent in. To take a cedar bath. Get some bare root if you can. A few other things. Swamp tea is great for lung stuff. And also turmeric and a few other things.
yeah. I have to go for a walk after the show then, and steal some flat cedar from the neighbor's tree down the street.
Yeah, but you're borrowing it.
Well, I'll put some tobacco down. Oh,
there you go. Yeah, good job.
Hey, we're with Dr. Stately, and this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we're doing our New Year's show. This is 7 years now we've been on the air, Dr. Stately.
Wow.
This week it's our anniversary, so you're a
That's
big
awesome.
part of it. Yeah, you're a big part of it. So I wanted to say a big peeny gigi, and hey, we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID-19. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov.
Hi, this is Frank Brown, owner of Minuteman Press Uptown, Minnesota's only minority-owned union printing company. And I have big news. We've moved. Our new building in North Minneapolis is much larger with state-of-the-art equipment. That means we can get your projects done faster. We're on Washington Avenue North off I-94 at the Dowling exit, which allows for quick pickup and drop-off with plenty of free parking. And yes, we still print everything. I moved to MP Uptown because as a Black business owner, I want to be in North Minneapolis and help provide jobs. At MP Uptown, we pay above living wages, hire people who have made mistakes in the past, and believe in social justice. We have over 175 Google reviews with a 5-star rating. Let us handle your next print project because when you support our business, you support the community. Call 612-870-0777 or visit mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com. We print everything.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of flurries late tonight with a low of 26, then clearing skies Wednesday with a high of 29. Break out of that post-holiday funk with a delicious meal at an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant, or cook something at home with an Eat Local Minnesota food purveyor. See the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, CEO and president of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and our friend. And I was just ending that last segment, and I just wanted to give you a big shout out and a big Peeny Gigi thank you for coming on for these last few years and speaking your truth, and really how important your truth was, especially when we were in the depths of COVID and all those other things. It was so important for us to get that information out there and not have hearsay, but have real information. So again, thank you for coming on, and really thank you for spreading information and to our listeners and to me and to Haley and to Wendy.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And happy anniversary. That's great. 7 years. I just celebrated my 7th anniversary at NAC actually in December. So.
Oh,
December
wow.
16th, or 13th, yeah. So,
Wow. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's so funny too, because right around the same time, Bob Blake started Solar Bear too. And I had him come down with me to the presidential convention down in Iowa. It was the first Native American caucus, and had all the candidates come down in Iowa, and we had a lot of fun down there. And we both were kind of starting our journey, him with Solar Bear and Native Sun, his nonprofit. And we kind of reminisce about that too, is that, geez, 7 years ago, we were like laughing at each other's jokes, and that's about it.
Well, we're still doing that. We're just doing a whole lot more. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Bob is on my board of directors. He's awesome. He's an awesome young man doing some amazing things in our community. So really appreciative of him.
And a positive force he is. And did you know his brother by any chance? Bill Blake?
Bill Blake, I didn't know it. No.
Yeah, he was a big sergeant in the Minneapolis Police Department, and well known. He passed on quite a few years ago, but yeah, there was his daughter was murdered, and it's just like there's some big history there, and there's a lot of police that know him as a legend. Bill Blake, Bob's brother, older brother, and I knew Bill since the early 70s. Him and I grew up together.
Yeah, no, I didn't know him, but that's such a tragic story and so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine losing a child or another relative to murder. It's like so.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not an uncommon story either in our community, and it's just hard to hear, and especially in someone I was close with, and we're kind of just dancing around what happened. I don't really want to get into it, but it was you can Google it. It was in the papers and things. It's pretty heavy duty, and we miss Bill. And again, Bob's brother, Bill Blake, was a true warrior.
Well, he's remembered for being for doing some really great things in our community, and that's wonderful. But it's also those when we share stories like this, it's a way of remembering them, and also calling out their name brings them closer to us sometimes. So he's present somewhere, I think, and hopefully, I mean, that must be hard for Bob. I can't imagine that not being difficult. So sending prayers out for him and his family too.
And another thing about Bob, he promised his older brother Bill that he would make the rest of Bill's siblings go to college, and every one of them has graduated from college, all four of Bill's kids. So again, shout out to Bob Blake. I know he's pretty humble, and we talk about a lot of solar and energy thing, but we're all not just one dimensional, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Bob Blake from Blake, and I always love saying that.
I'll have to have a conversation with him and maybe get him to promise to do the same thing for my kids. So, so now I know he's like the the whisperer. I'll get him to do that.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, unfortunately, you're going to be living as long as me. We'll be on this radio show for another 20 years.
It'd be like like the grumpy old men kind of thing, like
from the Muppets. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so it's hockey season, right?
Yeah.
And my sons are so excited that it is cold. Like it's finally getting to be like feel a little bit like an actual winter, and like what it's going to be below freezing for the next several days, which means ponds will freeze.
Yeah.
Anything's going to freeze that isn't like that any body of water, yourself included, will freeze if you stay outdoors long enough. And my sons are really excited, and like in between their illnesses, I think one got sick on, I think it was Saturday night, or Sunday night actually. But on Saturday, in between the other one feeling just fine and the other one getting sick, we went out to the big oval in Roseville to skate with some friends. That is an impressive hockey rink. Holy cow. It's like, have you been there? It is like
years ago.
Years ago? Yeah. Were you there when it was first built, or is that what you mean by years ago?
Well, when I used to still skate. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask you, do you still skate?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't know how to skate. I just have children that skate.
Because I think I'm at that point now where I'd pull out like a little chair and I'd be pushing around with my skates on with a chair. And
there were little kids out there. They had those little things that look like, I don't know, they look like little metal giraffes, and they're like skating along with them. And I was like, well, I could get one of those and probably skate too. But yeah, I've tried to skate. I used to rollerblade when I was younger and lived in LA. I never learned how to stop though, and so in LA when I'd be on the boardwalk or in Santa Monica or in Venice. If I wanted to stop, I would just roll off the sidewalk into the sand, and that would help me stop. And usually a soft landing there too. You can't really do that here in Minnesota on ice. So
Well, you had those short shorts and some knee pads, I hope too, right?
I had the short shorts for sure, but and the boom box, I was out there.
Yeah.
I'm the one that inspired Mariah Carey on your video. I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Absolutely sure of it.
Definitely.
Are your boys excited for the PWHL at all? The Professional Women's Hockey League just started their inaugural season on the 1st.
Yeah, I think they love to watch girls hockey. They watch women's hockey and girls hockey. They love any hockey, really, quite frankly. And we missed, unfortunately, and I didn't know this, I think partly because we were just sort of kind of all distracted. We stayed up really late on New Year's Eve, partly me taking care of the sick guy, holding his hair and stuff like that. And then we stayed up really late on New Year's Eve, and then on New Year's Day, we missed the opportunity to see the first Western United States conference. It's called Winter Classic with the Seattle Kraken and the Vegas Knights. And Seattle Kraken is my son's favorite team. He loves them. He thinks they're amazing. They were born in Seattle. My sons were. They were born in South Dakota actually, but we were living in Seattle at the time that they were born. So that's kind of like a hometown for them. But great game, like a complete shutout for for the Kraken. So first time ever a shutout in any of the Winter Classic history. And so yeah, and they were already the underdog for that. Everybody was sure that the Vegas Knights were gonna they were the Stanley Cup champions last year. So I think people assumed that they were just gonna dust them. But
paid for.
Yeah, and it's like so that those things I always tell my sons, like those are great things to sort of kind of pay attention to, because like you ever think like when you always think that I won't make it, or we're gonna face off against somebody who's better than us, and any prize that we do, right? That's kind of like an opportunity for us to remind ourselves, like, just bring your best game, each and every time, bring your best self to anything that you do, whether it's a sport, whether it's the work we do, whether it's showing up as a relative in the community, bring your best self, and, you can never go wrong. And,
Right. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you remember this or if you were a hockey fan when you were young, but, the Minnesota North Stars had the last goalie, Gump Worsley, that didn't wear a mask. And he was a stand-up goalie. And I remember Gilles Gilbert, who was French Canadian, said, I always did like watching Z Gumpa. He was a great stand-up goalie. And that's my claim to fame with the North Stars and hockey and masks and things like that. But
great accent too.
Yeah, French Canadian.
Yeah,
I do more.
You forgot to do the A part. The A.
You hoser. Well, I don't know if we can say that on AM radio here, but hey, you just did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
The Strange Brew kids from second.
Yeah. So we're actually trying to figure out if we're going to go up to War Road for Hockey Day Minnesota, which is in War Road this year. I know that TPT is going to premiere the documentary that Leah Hale directed and produced on Henry Boucher.
Wow.
But my sons are in that video as well, or in that documentary. And we're trying to decide. I mean, I might be a Karen parent and make them go anyway, because I want to. It's a great opportunity for us to go up there and spend time, see that place. It's for me, it's a magical place. I didn't really know a whole lot about it when I was growing up. I think, 40 some years ago, 50 some years ago. But, my sons, dream of being able to play on a team that's all Indigenous. They dream of playing with Native boys and girls who play hockey. And I was like, well, we got to go to Canada, my son. So let's get in the car and drive north. But it's a pretty amazing thing. So
you got to go to Canada, or damn near close to Canada, up in
exactly.
or War Road. Jeez. Dr. Staley, you got time for another segment, or should we let you go here and let people want more?
Oh no, I think he's frozen.
I think he just answered us. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back, possibly with Dr. Stately. If not, more news, good and bad, all over Turtle Island.
Stay with us.
Native Roots Radio. Oh. Hey, if you're like a lot of people, you're probably relieved that the holiday celebrations are over. But there's one thing that might stay with us from the holidays besides all those gifts, and that's COVID-19. Numbers from COVID are going up as we spend more time inside. And Native Americans are seeing even bigger case spikes. With all the indoor celebrations over the holidays, you may have unknowingly been exposed to someone with COVID-19. That's why it's important to stay vigilant. If you notice any symptoms like a fever, a tickle in the throat, or heavy fatigue, take an at-home test. They're still free and can be ordered at sayyeshometest.org. If you do test positive, you're eligible for free treatment, and no health insurance is required. Visit health.state.mn.us to connect with providers and receive your treatment. Let's make 2024 the healthiest year ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a go-to card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333, 612-373-3333.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
How? Oh, hey, we're back. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and Haley, you got something you want to mention here before we get back with the great Dr. Stately?
I sure do. And speaking of Dr. Stately, we have NAC, Native American Community Clinic's first Cedar ceremony of 2024. This will be this spiritual and emotional well-being healing ceremony is for anyone who would like to participate. Ceremonial clothing is encouraged, but not required. And anyone who does wish to participate is encouraged to bring an offering of tobacco and or gift. For those conducting the ceremony, if possible. NAC's Cedar ceremony happening this Thursday, January 4th at 5 p.m. And the location is at 2300 15th Avenue South, Minneapolis.
Wow, that's awesome. Dr. Stately, have anything to add to that? That's it sounds like great things that the Native American Community Clinic is doing for our people across the Twin Cities and all around.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, we have the Cedar ceremony every month, and it's usually the first Thursday of the month, I think. We have a number of other things. We also do a full moon ceremony. I think last week we had a full moon ceremony, like between the two holidays. If you saw the full moon, by the way, it was beautiful. Holy cow, it was just absolutely gorgeous. But we do those full moon ceremonies usually every full moon, either like 1 or 2 days before or after, kind of depending on sort of the weekend. We usually try to have those on Thursdays. We try to have them coincide on the same days that we have our weekly drum group practice. So we have a drum group practice for our drum group for Native men who are part of our Young Warriors program, and they do that every Thursday evening between 5 and 7 p.m. So on the days we're not at ceremony and they're not drumming at ceremony, they're at the clinic having their drum group. So and all that information is online actually on our website. So if you ever want to go to one of those groups, one of those programs, just look on our calendar or send an information request to info@nac-healthcare.org. And somebody will get back to you.
Good ups there, Haley, and bringing that up. It's so important, and people are invited, and that's great, really great. So what do you have any New Year's resolutions, or Haley and I were talking about that, and every year my resolution is not to have a resolution, but what do you usually do there?
I'm going to try to do a little bit better job of taking care of myself, and doing self-care more intentionally. I'm going to try to hit the gym 2 times a week, maybe, instead of like 2 times a year. And I do actually have to start walking, and it is really difficult to walk in the cold, and sometimes when it's really really icy out, it's like actually probably a little bit more dangerous for me to be trying to walk the dog because he's an Alaskan Shepherd, and he's, like he wants to drag things through the snow like a sled dog. And a couple of years ago, he actually dragged me through the backyard when I fell on the ice. And so I'll do things like go to the gym and walk for 35 to 50 minutes, and and do a light workout every couple of times a week, which will help me kind of maintain my diabetes, and also my A1C level kind of creeped up a little bit over the last few months. I got a little sedentary and a little bit casual with what I eat, so I'm trying to do a little bit better job on that. And also, just like I had the greatest, one of my old friends called me on accident. We were talking on Facebook, and between Christmas and the holiday, the New Year holiday, and I just left her a message on Facebook Messenger and said, "Hey, sorry I missed you. We'd love to catch up with you sometime." And I put the phone down. I went and did some things, cooked some food, and got a little. And then I was around 1:00 or 1:30 in the morning. I was getting ready to turn off the TV and go to bed. And then my phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's my friend from California calling me, who I knew back in Seattle. And we had the most amazing conversation for about an hour and a half. And before I knew it, we had caught up. We talked about our kids. We talked about, all the stuff we used to do together, the things we hope and dream for in the next couple of years. And her kids are about the same age as my kids. Her oldest is, and she's married to a remarkable Native man named Michael Yellowbird, and who does some really cool work in neuroscience around trauma and healing and decolonization. And her and I were just having just a good old res talk about our kids and our partners and our kids as dads.
Yeah.
So I will just leave it right there at that. But it was a great visit. We hadn't talked in a couple of years, so just kind of remarkable.
Is she in California now?
She's up in Winnipeg. She was in California. She's in Winnipeg now. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, they do have planes out there, I hear. You could maybe go visit.
Planes in Winnipeg? Yeah. They have cars too that go to Winnipeg. So I told her, I said, let me get through hockey season and it'll still be kind of cold, and then I'll throw the kids in the car and I'll come up to Winnipeg and they can do off-season skating up there in Winnipeg. So
when does hockey season end? I as long as
hockey season never ends. Never ends.
It's never ended since I've known you.
Yeah, it's a year-round sport actually. So yeah, but I'm just going to try to do a better job of doing those kinds of things, because it was such an amazing, just to have a nice conversation last night, while I was cleaning up after dinner and doing the dishes. A good friend of mine that I knew from LA, who lives in Biloxi, Mississippi, of all places. But we've known each other for years. We spent about an hour and a half on the phone catching up. I had talked to him in about 10 years, maybe less. Yeah, but just trying to do my best to show up and be present and engage and be social. It's something I haven't really paid a lot of attention to. I've let my job and my work and other responsibilities take more primary responsibility, and just trying to find a little bit more balance this year. So
yeah, that sounds like a great game plan. I think I really, for me with the exercise, I got into that. What does it take? 28 days to get into a habit, and been doing that for 3 or 4 years now, walking every morning, and it was hard not to because of not feeling well, but now I'm just going to push through it because darn.
Yeah. I stopped walking because I would walk nightly with the dogs. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. And then I got a little bit of sciatica, and it was painful. It was really difficult to do. And I wasn't managing that very well. So then what ended up happening was I stopped walking, which is actually counterintuitive. It doesn't feel good to feel that pain, but also like you do need to be moved. You need to sort of kind of push through and be a little bit uncomfortable. And what I've noticed over the last week is that since I've been walking more, even when it's been challenging, I felt better after I was done, and the incidence of the sciatica flaring up has been less frequent. So,
Wow.
sometimes doing the counterintuitive thing is the thing to do when you sort of like don't know what else to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Haley, I know you go for walks all the time, and you're out in the country feeling the soil.
Yeah, hanging out with the trees.
Yeah, talking to the trees and walking the dog, right?
Yep.
That's going to be the name of my book.
Very
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds like a beautiful way to live your life, actually. So.
Definitely. Hey, Dr. Stately, thank you so much. Have a great week. And I hear rumors you might be running the show next Monday, but that's just rumor. I have to check my bank account here before
We'll have to check the veracity of that rumor first.
Yeah. Hey, we're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier.
It's been Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We'll see you tomorrow.
The AM 950 2024 calendar is here.